He's in the mix, but he's a little ahead of that. So
so you're not even going to tell us where he is now?
Yeah, I actually follow the fucking rule, BJ.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's number 4.
If we're going to play it like that, that's fine.
He's number 4. I'll just go next. He's number 4.
Real quickly with that Jason Shiggs, I really like him a lot. He's a guy coming from Towson. He's played every game for the last 2 seasons.
Tons of experience.
Yes.
834 snaps.
45, 40, 35, 40. He's going to go. It's time, people. Feel us.
Big Red Junkies.
Day by day, he gets better and better. If we die, we die.
Man, woman, and child in that. Put him in the eye.
Bring that trophy back to Lincoln.
Welcome into another episode of the Big Red Junkies. I am BJ. This is Matt. This is Jed. We are stoked to be with you guys this evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching it. But it is late night for us actually right now. We are talking
Players,
in, out, new, old,
newcomers,
returning production, that sort of a thing. I'm super stoked about this show, mostly because it's going to refamiliarize everybody with the roster that we already have, because all we've heard about all offseason is newcomers and people that are coming in 27 that nobody even
you won't see for another year.
Going to see for another year. So this is going to bring you back down to earth, remind you of what our current roster looks like, but also to specifically talk more about that portal class that we brought in. That's going to be very impactful. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Jed because he's all the research and data guy on this one.
There's a lot of numbers on this.
It's just height, weight, and snaps.
If you guys were looking at our screens right now, it is 2 spreadsheets full with multiple tabs.
All the colors, too.
Yes, all the colors.
The colors, Dan.
Matt actually had to change the colors ahead of time because he's colorblind.
I got sensitive eyes. I don't know what to say.
You're a sensitive kind of guy.
I'm a sensitive guy.
Specifically in the green realm.
Yeah.
No, we were just going to go over some of the newcomers, maybe give our top 5, maybe 4, whatever you want to put. Obviously, I always say top 5, and then I name like 9 people.
Well, it wouldn't be a Big Red Junkies episode if we weren't breaking our own rules, Jed.
Like I said, I don't make the rules. I just come up with them. On
this show, there's no more real thing than rules are meant to be broken.
I don't break rules. I just create them as I go.
Yeah, there we go. So this is a top 5 to 8 show. Just so you know.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go right down this list. And are we going offense and defense, or how are we doing this?
I'm doing everybody combined.
Okay. Top 5 newcomers. Head it off. Let's go.
For me, I've got my number 5 guy. It's going to be very heavy in the trenches for my entire 5. But I got to go with the offensive line because that's what we need more than anything else to be consistent, specifically with our running game that we have, the inexperience of our running game that we have, replacing what we obviously lost with Emmett Johnson. I'm going with our offensive tackle, Tree Babalade. He was once a top 20 offensive tackle recruit in the country. I think it's pretty self-explanatory how important having somebody of high quality on the opposite side of Elijah Pritchett is to be able to anchor that side of the offensive line.
I agree with that. I think you're underrating him.
That's fine.
Personally, if he's number 5 for you, and I'm notorious on these shows for going out of order.
Yeah.
But because you already said my guy, one of my guys on this, I got to tell you, like, I think Tree Babalade is going to be probably the number 2 guy for me on this list, just simply because of exactly what you just said. Our offensive line this year is going to look so much different than it did last year, mostly because of the coaching, but also these bodies that we brought in, like, they are the real deal. And he is coming in hot. He's got SEC experience. I'm very excited about him.
Out of my 5 guys, 3 of them are offensive linemen. So realistically, you could put any 3 of them in any order that you want to. I think that all 3 of them have to be on their top 5.
So you said 5 guys. Should we call the extras that you have like
I'll bring those
the bag of fries?
Or the bag of fries. Yeah.
That bag that if you leave in your car overnight on accident with some leftovers in it, you pick it up the next day and it falls out the bottom.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done that. Don't ask yourself that question.
He is. Come on.
Matt, who you got at number 5?
For me, I'm actually going to the other side of the ball, number 5, and I'm doing Jason Shiggs because I think we needed some replacement in the backfield back there.
He just missed my top 5, and he's definitely in my others receiving votes category.
Don't get me wrong, Tree is out there. He's in the mix, but he's a little ahead of that. So
so you're not even going to tell us where he is now?
Yeah, I actually follow the fucking rules, BJ.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's number 4.
If we're going to play it like that, that's fine.
He's number 4. I'll just go next. He's number 4.
Real quickly with that Jason Shiggs, I really like him a lot. He's a guy coming from Towson. He's played every game for the last 2 seasons.
Tons of experience.
Yes.
834 snaps.
Yeah.
The guy, so we didn't really set the ground rules of whether this is most impactful this year, most important this year.
Do what you want.
Top 5.
So for me,
you can do impactful, important, whatever.
Because of the room already being...
Remember, there are no rules.
There's no rules.
I get it. Because of the room already being pretty stacked for us, for me, it's got to be Quasi Gillen at number 5. And it's nothing to say on him whatsoever, but I actually think he's that guy that for me, he's not necessary, right? Okay. I think he's going to be very impactful. I think that him and Isaiah Hunter are going to be like neck and neck, probably for our number 1, unless Ja'Cory Barney finally realizes his true potential, which I think is to be like that elite slot receiver that could go for 1,000 yards, whatever. But both Quasi Gilmer and Isaiah Hunter can take the top off of a defense. They're both physical. He's got great experience coming from UCLA, and he's got a ton of snaps as we're talking about this. He's got 707 snaps coming in. When you look at experience coming in on a roster, anything over 500, you're a seasoned vet coming in on that. And I'm excited about him. I'm excited about his size, his speed, his playmaking ability. It's going to be awesome.
I agree with everything you just said. He just barely didn't make the cut for me for the same reason as he just wasn't as necessary as some of these other positions.
That's what I was just going to say. He was right there for me as well, but I just didn't put him on my top 5. Honestly, I didn't even have him on my other guys only because we're going to need him, but we didn't really... we've got other guys at the receiver position where he's not as important.
And don't get me wrong, he's going to make a difference.
100%.
I think he's going to have a great year, especially if Calandria does some of the things we think he can.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in a little while too, I think. But.
Yeah. My number 4 is the guy that I, am having my man crush with for this season is the defensive tackle, Jasheer Whittington.
He finally has admitted his new man crush.
I think I said it last time we talked about him when he finally talked during spring. But he played 11 guys as a backup as a freshman. He had 250 snaps last year with 14 pressures. By comparison, that would have been 4th on the team last year at Nebraska with only having the 16th most snaps. So he was very impactful for Pittsburgh. And he is a little bit undersized compared to a lot of our other defensive linemen. But
that right there is the reason he's not in my top 5.
But his athletic ability and his twitch and all those things,
I agree.
I think he's the type of guy that we need on that retooled defensive line.
I agree with everything you just said. The only reason that I'm hesitant is I want to see it against Big Ten offensive lines.
I get it.
That's my big thing on that. And we've seen guys that are supposed to be that come in here and be unsuccessful against Big Ten offensive lines.
That's totally fair.
And we play some of the best in the middle of our pack of the season. We're going to see it early, whether or not it's real or whether or not it was really good in the Pac-12.
I think a lot of that
ACC or whatever there were.
Yeah. A lot of that doesn't even necessarily come down to him. It's how Corey Brown decides to use them too. That's
100%. 100%. That's why he just barely missed mine.
To be fair, you said Pac-12 and you Pittsburgh. Well, Stanford is in the ACC, so it's okay. And there are no rules. Everybody can be in whatever conference they want.
College football, man. There's no rules anymore. Brendan Sorsby's playing football.
Here we go again
on himself.
Here we go again. Maybe he won't be by the time this comes out.
True.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
That'll probably change like 7 times before the season starts.
Yeah, no kidding.
They'll find another judge they can buy in Texas.
Matt, you're number 4?
Tree.
You already said, okay, yeah.
I know it's not, but I got to call him Beyblade. Tree Babalade, for sure.
Beyblade Babalade.
I like saying Babalade.
I do, too.
It's a fun name to say, but there's just something, Beyblade. That's
you know what?
it is.
It kind of makes me want to eat some some Creole food.
Okay.
He's also coming from LSU, so
You're really hungry at 11 o'clock at night. All right.
Fuck off. You got any other reasons on that, or
you guys already kind of covered it all.
Yeah,
it's an important piece. I think he's got lots of experience. He's huge. So, and we needed that at the tackle position.
Hold on a second, just so that we can make sure the ground rules are clear, because
there are no rules.
we used to leave Dylan Raiola off all these lists when we did these before. Are we leaving Colandrea off?
I mean, I did.
Okay, fine.
I didn't, because the reasons are obvious.
Yeah, that's the other thing. And
if you're going to have a true top 5 list, he's going to be in my top 5.
The other reason I didn't put him on it, because I knew you guys were going to, and we were going to talk about him. So it's, whatever.
No, Michael Jordan shouldn't win MVP every year. Okay, fuck off.
Fair enough.
BJ, who's your number 4?
My number 4 is for me. Where did he go? I'm sorry.
Well, to Nebraska. That's why we're talking about it.
Duh. Anthony Jones. Anthony Jones for me. I've heard great things about him, both from his athleticism, but also his culture fit. It sounds like he's a dude that's come in and like instantly assumed a leadership role as an older guy, but it sounds like he's fun. He's fun to be around. He's bringing a lot of energy.
Fast dude.
I love to see that. I love to hear that. He has a ton of experience from a ton of different coaches. So if there's anybody that can come in and be effective immediately from a standpoint of, well, it's not new to me because everything's new to me in the last 6 years. I think it's going to be him. And being able to put him and Nwaneri on the other side, on opposite sides of each other, or or spelling each other. I'm not sure how they're going to run it, but that's going to be some intense athleticism and pressure coming from both sides if they're out there at the same time, and I'm very excited to see what that looks like.
Absolutely. My number 3 is going back to the offensive line. Paul Mubanga, the guard. He's got 11 starts coming in here. He went from allowing 23 pressures as a freshman to only 6 last year. Again, I mean, I'm going to say it again with my next guy too. The offensive line is, obviously important to every season, but especially right now with bringing in the guys that we have to replace, Spindler and Lutoski at guard, and to be able to block not just for Colandrea, a mobile quarterback, but also the
100%. He would be in probably my 6 to 8 range, as you've talked about, and we'll get to those guys. But he's right up there. Yeah. I mean, the thing about this portal class is it was need.
It fit the holes.
They did not go after people they didn't need.
That's how it should be.
But they did a good job.
BJ, you want to go next? You want me to?
You.
All right. My number 3, I picked this guy not necessarily for his skills or even his play impact, but for his leadership, and I think it's something that we're going to need. Owen Chambliss in the linebacker room. It's a deep room.
I guess we're going at the same time.
Is that your guy too? It's a deep room. It's a talented room, but we needed somebody who could replace that extra high level experience, who can be a little bit more of a leader and guide some of the younger folks. And that's what he's bringing. He's got a shit ton of snaps. He's got a ton of playing time. He has over 200 snaps more than the next closest person. So we needed a leader in there, and I think he fits that bill perfectly.
The bigger thing for me than any of what you just said, and it was all really, really good stuff.
I know it was.
The biggest thing for me is his experience with Rob Orich.
That too.
He's been playing in his system for the last 3 years.
That's huge.
He is huge for a middle linebacker. He is a massive dude. He's got the hit power. He's got all the stats. He checks off all the boxes. He will be an NFL prospect 100%. But more than anything, the middle linebacker, especially in what Matt Rhule's run so far, is the quarterback of that defense, and he already knows that defense. Yeah. There's no better. That's like someone coming in and bringing their quarterback with them. I love it. I'm so excited about it. He is a close number 2 for me because the other one's going to be the quarterback, obviously on the top. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he's got bringing.
So he's your number 2 or number 3?
He's my number 3.
Okay.
I said he was a close number 2.
Okay.
He's our
But
number 3.
I really think that right side is going to be massive this year, especially with a more mobile quarterback.
I will echo everything you guys said, plus a little bit more in just a little bit.
He's our number 3. Yes.
I'll bring him up in a little bit, a little bit more on him, but yeah. Number 2 for me is, again, the other guard, Brendan Black from Iowa State. He's coming in with 30 starts under his belt. Again, just experience.
Now Jed and I are going at the same time. He was my number 2 as well.
Again, I had the 3 offensive linemen that are coming in. I don't have to keep repeating myself as far as how important those guys are going to be for our offensive line and filling the holes that they have. But honestly, you could put any of those 3 guys in any order you want to, but I think that they should all be in the top 5.
Yeah. He's another one. He is a huge guard.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. There's not a ton of 6'4" guards out there.
No. He actually lines up very, very similarly to Litovsky from last year.
Oh, does he?
Similar size, similar frame, similar style. That should be a plug and play from a Matt Rhule perspective, like looking at him on the field. But he has more experience and has way better grades. Not grades in class. I don't know about those. I'm talking about his PFF grades are great. He is. That's the biggest thing about these 3 guys. They're all pro prospects. They are all pro prospects. Plain and simple. Their size is very much in line with a bigger offensive line than what we had last year. But they're all pro prospects, and they're all coming from great experience.
Do you have a number 2? Or
I already gave it. Babalade was my number 2.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Protected that right side. For me, that's the biggest thing. And both Brendan Black and Mubanga are like 6'7" for me.
So is Brendan Black not on your list?
He's not on my list just simply because of the fact that
you did your list wrong.
Well, there's that. No, I mean, Babalade, to me, that like the right tackle position was the biggest need on our offensive line that we had to address. Mm-hmm. I think that there were probably guys in the pipeline, and it all comes down to how you built it out and like what the necessity of them was. There were probably guys in the pipeline that could have filled those guard spots this year. We did better than that. So I'm very excited to have them here. But from a right tackle position, I don't think we had the right guy. What's his name that started the year last year for us at left tackle? I can't remember his name. He ended up getting hurt, but then it really became obvious that Pritchett was the better guy anyway. He slid over to right tackle after he came back from injury. I can't remember his name right
off the top of my
head. No, it was...
obviously Teddy got hurt.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Gunnar Gatula.
Oh, yeah.
I think Gunnar Gatula is a great player, but when you look at Babalade's size compared to Gatula and his experience and some of his ability, he's got a higher ceiling, and he's much more of a pro prospect than what Gunnar Gatula has shown so far. Gunnar Gatula is still, I think, only a junior this year.
I don't have any
redshirt junior, maybe. He might still have his day in the sun, but at this point, I think that was the biggest need on the offensive line that we needed to address that wasn't available in-house. And so that's why I put him at number 2. The other 2 guys, like I said, probably 6'7" for me. You could move them up to number 5, number 4 potentially, but that's what I built my list.
My number 1 is somebody that you guys just talked about. I guess I put Owen Chambliss my number 1, mainly because of kind of what you said, Matt, as far as his not necessarily his ability, which is all obviously.
Yeah, no, he's a great player.
Obviously high. He had over 100 tackles last year. But having a new defense come in and having a guy like Owen Chambliss that knows the defense as well as he does to be able to go into that locker room and teach all these players the new defense.
And already playing the leadership position
have
in
a
the defense.
Have a second voice, not just the defensive coordinator, but a second voice peer that the players like a Vincent Shavers or anybody else can go to this guy and say, I don't understand this. What does Coach Orich mean when he says X, Y, and Z? Mm-hmm. Having a guy like Owen Chambliss, not just his talent, but also his mental ability to be able to help these younger players learn the defense, I think is invaluable, and that's why I have him at number 1.
To back that up, what's one of the most important things on defense specifically, in football in general, but specifically on defense, to be able to play fast? What do you have to know? You have to know the playbook already. Yeah. You have to know what call is coming in. You have to know exactly what your spot is. And by this point in his career, with as much time as he spent with Orich, that's second nature for him now.
Uh-huh. Right.
It's not, I learned this year. This is Hey, I'm helping teach. I'm the leader. We're going.
Owen Chambliss is basically going to be our Javin Wright this year.
Yeah.
Where and just as far as comparison numbers, again, I know it's different competition, whatever. I don't really care. But Chambliss had 200 more snaps than Javin Wright. He had 16 pressures to 5 Javin Wright, and 57 stops to 29 for Javin Wright. So, not only does he know this defense, but he can perform in this defense. And, obviously that's a guy that we need. Especially to take over that spot from Javin Wright.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
BJ, do you want to say it at the same time for our number one?
I mean, I think it's obvious.
It should be obvious.
That's fine.
To everybody who knows how to make a top 5 list.
I knew he was going to get brought up.
Here's my thing about Colandrea. Here's my thing about Colandrea, and it's a lot like what I talked about in our coaches show with Rob Orich. I think that he's a guy that I'm in wait and see mode, but also the quarterback is becoming more and more the make or break for a team,
yes,
like it is in the NFL. Like in the NFL, it's undeniable, right? But there's a lot of schools right now in the last handful of years that can still be really, really good with an average quarterback. I don't think that's as much the case in today's landscape. When you look at the last 3 teams that have won the national championship, yeah, you had J.J. McCarthy win it with, with Michigan. Fuck Michigan. But you're not even going to say it?
Yeah,
okay.
Vincent. Fuck Michigan. Everybody say it together, class.
He's an average to bad quarterback in the NFL, but he was a really good system quarterback with a really good team in Michigan, right? But outside of that, every other team in the last 5 to 10 years had an elite quarterback. You have to have an elite quarterback. If Anthony Calendria can even take a little bit of a step forward from what he was last year, which was under really, really good quarterback coaching, under really good OC, under a really good head coach for quarterbacks, specifically, he's, Dan Mullen's kind of a quarterback whisperer. If he can even take the slightest of steps forward and have that much better on an offensive line, that much better of a running back room, that much better, way better wide receiver core to throw to, the sky's the limit. And it could mean the difference between us being a sub 500 team and being maybe an 8 or 9 win team. I'm not trying to get the hype train rolling, but
you would never.
A lot of people. Well, here's the thing: when he did that press conference a couple months ago, and he's out there, I didn't come here to win 6 games. I came here to win 9, 10, 11, 12. Compete for the playoffs, do that sort of thing. I love a guy with confidence like that. Go out there and back it up. Right? You got to have that kind of swagger. I think the difference between the swagger that he brings and the swagger that Dylan Raiola brought was I've worked my ass off. I've been a couple places and I got to where I got to get this opportunity, as opposed to Dylan Raiola and, my dad's name's on the stadium and I've been suckling from the teat since the moment that I started throwing a football. There's natural ability there versus not as much natural ability, but a lot of hard work and effort that's been put into his career.
There's proof of concept there.
And proof of concept, yes. And you know what? You hear a lot of YOLO ball with him. You hear a lot of you're going to take with the good with the bad.
That's the one thing I was going to bring up, and I don't remember who put it on Twitter. I can look it up again, but they compared his stat line to Jeff Sims, and I didn't like those numbers at all because they're like the same. The difference is he's a very comfortable, confident quarterback. And yeah, he's a gunslinger for sure, but he still wins games.
I mean, I've been bringing this up like crazy, but Michael Severe has always been saying for the last handful of months where he sees a chance where Colandrea could be top 10 in, yards and touchdowns, but he can also, as far as in the conference, like top 5, but he can also be top 5 in turnovers.
Sure. He solved a lot of the turnover problems going to work with Jeff Mullen.
Also,
Dan Mullen, excuse me. If that carries over and he can, again, he's another year older. He's got more experience, right? He got knocked down from big boy football in the ACC at Virginia down to UNLV. He's got his opportunity to come back. He's getting paid a bunch of money, but he's also got a lot more talent again. He's going to go up against harder competition, but at the same time, what is growth if you're not growing? Take the opportunity.
The more important factor for me is he wins fucking football games.
Yeah.
He at least in my opinion, he kind of has that killer instinct you see in the NFL where you might fuck up and throw a few interceptions, but also when the game gets tough and it's close, go out there and win the fucking football game. And we've seen that in a positive way from him several times.
Yeah, just don't be Jameis Winston and throw more interceptions.
Just don't be Jameis Winston.
Yeah, in life and in football. just don't be Jameis Winston. If you learn nothing else from this show, it's don't be Jameis Winston.
Smile. Who are your extras?
My only other two extras, because we already I had Anthony Calendria, Jason Shiggs, is Dexter Foster, linebacker from Oregon State, who only played half the season at Oregon State. Sure. But he's a guy that is going to push Shavers and even Chambliss, as far as whether it's Chambliss and Foster that are going to start or Chambliss and Shavers that are going to start. Either way, it's those three guys that are going to be kind of the main rotation guys.
It's really nice to have a guy like that, even if he doesn't start, to be able to rotate in and out of the game too.
Yes.
And then the only reason why I really kind of wanted to put this guy in my top 5, but they just ran out of spots. But also, he's going to have to do a lot of work to be able to play a lot, is running back Jamarl Rhule. We saw what he did in the spring game. But there's other guys that are ahead of him right now. Obviously, not a whole lot of experience. They don't have much more experience than Jamarl Rhule does. But
he is another guy that seems like he has that it factor.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But again, with specifically a true freshman coming in, we need to see it before I can sit here and logistically put him in the top 5.
100%. But what I will say,
long term, I think he's in the top 5. This year, I don't know.
I agree with you, but what I see with this portal class and with this recruiting class, even though it was small and poorly rated, the difference between this and what we've seen for the Matt Rhule era so far, but even if you go back past that, is there's an it factor with some of these guys that you see it already instead of he's got the athletic ability, he's got the size, he's got whatever. We just got to give him the it. Mm-hmm. Some of these guys don't have the paper stats, but they've got the it factor, like Colandrea, like Rhule. Rhule's an undersized running back. I think they listed him at 6 foot, but he's like he looks smaller than 6 foot. Like he looks like a more of a 5'9" foot. I don't know, but
it's like a Danny 6 foot if you're listening.
Ouch, dig. The guy seems like he has that it factor. And if you go look at his high school stats, the guy basically put his high school football team on his back for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So he's got that Emmett Johnson it factor, if you will, if I can invoke that, even though he's not an All-American yet. Another guy that I think is going to be massive from the recruiting class side of things, Danny Odom.
Yeah.
There's a very real chance he sees a lot of time on the field this year.
I don't think he's going to start, but he will definitely be in the mix, yes.
He might not start.
Yeah.
We don't know what it's going to look like after fall camp, and there's a lot of guys in that room that we've been talking about this for a while, last couple seasons. That's been a very young room with a lot of DBs in it for a long time. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. You've got it was interesting to see in the spring game specifically. They trotted out Jamal Charles. That's a guy that we've been waiting on since we heard about the stories of him jumping out of the gym on a recruiting trip. So, but Danny Odom, I think, is going to be a guy that at least pushes for some of that time. Anybody else, Matt?
No, we've covered this list pretty well. It's just a very exciting time for new guys coming in.
Guys that are coming back. Do we want to do that on this one, or do we want to do another show?
Make them wait.
Cool, make them wait. We love you guys. Please come back for the next one, obviously. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, and share.
And this may be the most unbelievable night in Cornhusker football history.